cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
Something to think about. 16 years ago, my adoption mother died. And the thing is this gonna be a boo-hoo story or look at me how sad I am? No, it's already 16 years ago and there's a lot of lessons to be learned from. What kind of lessons, Alan? Now, first of all, you know, let's really straight away dive into it without actually the proper intro or build up a whole emotional framework. You know, be grateful because it can be over in a finger snap. I remember actually as the day as yesterday that I went one day back home, and I remember the spot, and I remember also the look in her eyes. And then she said, Dylan, she was half crying. She was never actually really emotional, but she was half crying. She said, I have lung cancer. And the thing is, from that moment, it went downhill, totally downhill. But it was a long race downhill. Sometimes a little bit of break here and there. And by the way, in case people think you're gonna use this story to get views or the boo-hoo, give me a shoulder knock or a feather in the behind. No, it's not like this. I'm trying to make some people aware of the fact that life can be over in a finger snap, and you should be grateful for the things that you do have. And let's say your circumstances are all look like hell. Your health is going through hell, maybe because you're slacked here and there. But if you can still breathe, and that is for multiple people that I knew in the past, that was the last thing that they wanted. They wanted to breathe. Think about this, you know, in case some people who watched my previous vlogs, you know, maybe you wonder sometimes, why does he talk like this, you know? Because I do have time. I do have those relationships. I don't need to show gratitude or set my own boundaries to get my life on track. Get rid of people the way I talk about this. Cut out people like cancer instantly. I was never like this. But the guy upstairs or the universe gave me those lessons and a boatload of other colorful lessons. But in order to stick a little bit around the point of life and death, you know, today it's that day, the 1st of November. Do I have emotional things about it, like, you know, those sad little puppies, they cry for years and years about their parents, and actually they don't even know why they actually cry. The reason that I'm actually using them as fuel, and they're both a long time ago they went away, but how I'm using it as fuel, you know, multiple times I ended up with nothing in my life. I lost everything. And the last time I lost everything, I was sitting on the bench outside in the middle of the night, freezing to death. No, not to death, because otherwise I wouldn't be alive. But the thing is, I got up and I said to myself, you know, I'm breathing. I got everything. So what did I do? I went to the calisthenics spot to stay warm. 6 hours of pumping. And you know what? The only thing that could happen is that I would die on the spot. So what? So what? The world will keep on turning, but as long as I'm breathing, as long as my fingers work, as long as my knees can swing around like something that swings around, then I keep them swinging. And as long as my brain can function and all those things snap, you know, those I don't know, I'm not a neurologic, I don't know what, the guy who's busy with the brain. You know, as long as that is working as fast as possible, I will do everything to keep it tip top in shape to the best level I can, and that I know about, because every time I'm trying to increase my knowledge about nutrition, the way I'm actually also replenishing my how do you say it is my water level in my body, because I'm a little bit struggling with this, because yeah, maybe you understand, I'm doing things a little bit over the top. Do I compare myself with this marathon runners maybe every week? I don't know how many times they do it. No, but I'm doing everything to keep my brain as healthy as possible. I'm not gonna be in this 240-mile run race to become #1. If I would ever do something like this, it's simply just I want to reach that mind state, that state of mind that you go totally blank. I talked about this before, you know, that I remember my longest run was 34 kilometers, and then I, you know, went totally blank in my mind, free, one with the road, totally blank, some sort of a high that I never reached before. So this is the thing, everything is first of all about character building, and for this you need time. And for this, in order to give you more time, the person who watches now maybe on the mobile, you know, this fancy latest model of iPhone, I don't know what, so you can brag about your friends who actually don't give a rat's ass about what kind of model you're walking around with. And if they do, think about this, to clean up your circle of idiots. If they would care about, oh, you got, see, I'm not up to date about all those models things, right? So let's say you got an iPhone 40,000 and they say, oh, you got the 40,000? That's way below us. Well, kick them to the curb. I know from some people that they look at this. You know, I had multiple exes. They found it very important to have the latest iPhone. Not that they actually did anything with the phone besides doing what they all do with all the phones, did all with the phones, selfies, and, you know, just spread the word about kissing the screen, you know, and collecting attention from men. Yeah, but darling, you do the same too. You put yourself also out there. I'm trying to show something that is real. You know, I'm almost 46, 47. I'm trying to inspire the young people, giving them an opportunity to claim their freedom, grow a pair between their legs. And I'm talking to the man. And for this you need, first of all, claim your own time. If you don't control your own time, never ever talk to other people that you're the man, because you're not. If you obey to a master, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, you are not there. And also you should never claim that you're there. Just saying. The same is with the man that I saw in the stadium with his son, beer belly, you know, totally out of shape, and shouting at his son, telling him how to do more push-ups or whatever. He didn't even explain it because he wasn't capable of doing it, you know. And I think, what kind of man are you? Probably also the kind of guy who goes to his master between 9 and 5 and from Monday to Friday. Yeah, but Dollar, he works for his family, the traditional guy. He works his ass off. Well, good for you. If you think like this, then swipe straight away. But if you really want to understand something about life, is that time is ticking, then you should keep on watching. Time is ticking. You want to claim your time in the first place, no matter how young you are, or claim how young you are, because that's another factor, right? I know a lot of 25-year-old farts who tell me, I'm too tired, Dollar, now. And I think, what the hell, what the fuck you tired about? About fucking nothing. Maybe you're so fed up with your own life, banging your first girlfriend, and probably you work slowly towards, you know, building a family. And in the meantime, you're building a very boring business. I know those people. With all the respect, you know. Otherwise, you know, if you're watching this, if you are tired at 25, there's something horrible going wrong. And I'm saying this again with the best intentions, because nobody else around you would tell you, because yeah, they will say, oh, little Timmy, and over your head. I'm also tired. Everything comes in pairs. Negativity, slow thinking, they need other people to hang around with, right? By the way, I'm at the moment in Slavia Park. 16 years ago I started training over there, over here in Bulgaria. Anyway, very quick in between. So when it's about training also, nothing what you see in my vlogs or will see, maybe once in a while I will, you know, show you here and there a little bit glamour, and then you think, oh, that is nice, I hope he's doing that more. No, this is real life, and especially when you start building up, nothing is glamorous. So that's why this beauty, this rusty beauty, let's walk under it. You can go to the gym, you know, where all the women go, and I'm saying this with a huge level of respect for the people who really put in the work. But you know what, women need to be cozy, they need to be in the gym and work on their backs, and you know, I'm not getting into the gender attack. I'm just telling you, as a man, we need rust, we need concrete, gasoline, diesel, you know, we're not driving electric cars. Anyway, I'm doing also sometimes, I'm taking those spark cars. No, I'm not sponsoring those, oh, vice versa. But anyway, rust, mud, and a nice natural environment where I can think, focus on my own thought, not distracted by the latest hits. Of course, I do really enjoy music, but over here, focusing over here, thinking, planning the rest of the day. See, my day every day starts, today my day started at 4:15, so now I'm taking a mental break, focusing on the rest of the day, what else needs to be done. It's not a bit that I have to, but it's because I want to. Because I said this before in one of the previous vlogs, I said I need to do this. No, I thought about this word because I'm looking at my own freaking smug when I'm making those little tiny clips to get more views or get more attention, so I get a little bit whippy between a YouTube algorithm, so I get placed between the shorts, and then you have to listen to your own voice, which is also sometimes totally embarrassing, I'm telling you. And my whole vlogging journey, you know, I could wait for 2-3 years until I'm 50, you know, and then it's the good moment. Nothing is the good moment. The whole moral of this vlog is just do it now. Who gives a rat's ass? And you know what? The people who judge you the most, those are the bottom feeders. They don't have to actually do something with their life. They don't do anything besides moving straight forward to the grave. And once they are in the grave, did their opinion matter? No. Did their opinion ever matter? Because their actions were not even noticeable by something that should notice actually nothing. No. So just do it. And especially now, a day like this, November 1st, you know, that my mother actually entered her grave after more than 1.5 years, I think, she was fighting the cancer thing, the lung cancer, you know, lung cancer. Think about this, and you smoke fucking cigarettes your whole life. But the thing is, there are people who getting older, you know. And I know some of you smokers would say, yeah, but my grandfather, he was 85 and he smoked and he did everything. But you know what? If he didn't smoke, he was probably going over the 100, right? So those are also very unique cases. I don't use those cases. The same thing is with smoking weed. You know, I smoke boatloads of weed, but I always had periods of things that are, you know, detrimental to your health. You know, I also had smoking cigarettes periods. Even last year I had an 8-month smoking cigarettes thing, but I kept doing my disciplines. But now, you know, I got rid of all my vices in my life. All my vices. That includes any normal people behavior. That includes television. That includes eating a bag of chips. I thought about this yesterday to make a video about that I'm going to the McDonald's. I think that would be nice, because then when I would do it, something like this, going to the McDonald's would happen maybe 2 times a year. then I would go all in and make maybe an eating video. You know, I'm not doing those things. Oh yeah, you know, this is the thing. Just a very quick in between it to increase my workflow in the GoPro cloud. Not sponsored by them. I did set a timer on my GoPro, so you know I can do everything in the cloud. So, but anyway, also to increase my workflow. So just to let you know, every single segment is vice free. And if I really think about it, you know, I'm gonna give you a very simple example. You know, for example, every day that I'm coming back home and clean my shoes. Yeah, but Dolan, that sounds like a waste of time. Well, I think if I compare all the stuff that I'm doing into details and optimize everything every single day, and by the way, this is not to brag, this is simply to give you a little bit of insight about a guy's life who is preaching every day, a single day about, you know, this should be better, cut off the cancer out of your life. I'm living by those rules. I lived a very colorful life. I lived in multiple countries. I'm running multiple projects in multiple countries. And this is not to brag, but this is me getting input from so many different angles that most people will not get even the chance. They will not get the chance to meet that kind of people or to speak with those people. And also, when you would see me, you know, don't do creepy things, because a lot of people do actually creepy things. They stare at me or whatever, they make pictures, weird things. Just come to me. I love to talk with people. That is my obsession. I also explained yesterday the why. You know, I also know exactly the whys of my behavior at this point in my life. I also observed my own life, all the things that are flaws that I had, and I'm sharing those with the world, so you don't have to get into that. And then also, when you, let's say, you know, now in the moment of your life that you label yourself, no, Dolan, I have mental diseases, I have now accidentally ACDC or whatever you call it, or ADHD, what do you got? You know what, what you do have? Too much time. And that's why you should watch my vlogs, get a virtual kick under your butt, and then start doing something. And you know what? When you constantly busy in your own mind, you're doing too less with your body. Trust me. Let me give you an example. Okay, great. Great request. If you are so busy with, oh my God, I have so much energy, I am so fast distracted. Yes, of course you are. But the thing is, the rest of the planet is. That is a normal people behavior. Only some people are aware of it and have to tell the rest of the world about it. Or you got people who actually think it's more than normal to have a little bit more energy than the average snail. And they start doing something. Start running. Do you know, actually? Think about this. For example, you sit on the couch and you think, yeah, now, Dolan, I really have ADHD and I'm going nuts. You know what? Run 10 kilometers every single day from now on, every single day, because you got the energy, right? Yeah, but then I don't have the physical state yet, or I smoke too much cigarettes. Now, well, listen to your own words. Those habits are already bad habits, so get rid of it. That is already your first steps to get rid of your mental disease, drowning in your own depression or whatever. No matter how you want to label it. I know people who label themselves with autism, and of course they have a buddy with autism. And you know what? Until the moment that he actually said it, I would not even think about it, this person. And trust me, I would know, because you know, I spent a lot of time with those people in real life. In the old days when it was not hyped up, you know, now it's hypey, you know, to get on all kind of medicines. Oh, what do you got? Shall we trade? Because you got a better one, because you're a little bit more advanced, because you're already used to the other medicines. Is this all against the medicine world and or the labels? No, this is about you as the person who wants more from their life, feel fulfilled at the end of the day, that you go to freaking bed and that you cannot go to sleep. You wiggle like a little child, you know. Maybe you remember those days, you know, your birthday was coming up and you wiggle in your bed, and then you already wake up at 2-3 o'clock in the night and you scream and you smack yourself and you say, no, it's only a nightmare. I'm waking up. But anyway, you understand maybe that feeling, and you lost that a long time. Well, I'm gonna give you this. I have big troubles with sleeping, and if you watched my vlog before, my days are 18 plus hours a day. Bam. Not talking about mental diseases or spreading the word about whatever is bad about this world. I'm just trying to make people aware of time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow, maybe you not over here anymore, you're not waking up, so you do it now. And everything what you would say, yeah, but Alan, I will start tomorrow. Okay. You just not even getting in line. You just being somewhere in the middle of the herd over there in the herd. The herd sits on the couch, sits in the cinema, eating from the noses, with all respect to the cinema visitors, but you understand. Try to reduce your entertainment sources that are meant to be to keep the masses. Shut up, shut up. Don't develop yourself, don't develop your character. Don't walk around with women actually that a lot of men want to obtain. And by the way, we're not getting into this part actually, because I could say a lot of nice things about it, but we're not getting into this. The thing is, I want you to reclaim your life, your time in the first place. And one by one, you knock down your bad habits. You know, those habits that you need to get rid of. Because every time when you get rid of, let's say, a negative habit, something else nice comes into your life. I do believe in this, and I'm going to give you an example. So I have people on different levels and different categories. So when it's about the amount of people that I'm chatting with, and I got people who respond in 24 hours, people who respond within 1 hour, and sometimes the 1 hour people, that group is maybe, no, let's say the 6 hour category. That group is maybe 10, 12 people. I think at the moment 10 or maybe even 9. But for a few days ago, one dropped off of the planet. I don't have any emotional attachment to this. And the thing is, dropped off the thing, and all of a sudden one from the past, who also dropped off once, comes back with a whole different attitude on life. Sometimes people need to disappear a little bit to grow faster. So, you know, I'm also never judgmental to that. If you need time to grow or whatever, maybe you go in detrimental behavior, like on a heroin spree or whatever. Maybe you go robbing some places. And I'm saying this, and I'm using these very extreme examples just to make things, you know, make a click-clack in your brain, that you think, oh, that makes sense. You know, I used to be emotional attached to people because I thought, you know, we going all in, you know, stupid. I talked about this before, you know, I was totally out of boundaries. I went with everything and everybody and everything. There was literally no boundaries. And of course, that is setting yourself up for disaster. And that's what I came to realize. And now I can talk about this to you and maybe some friends around you. Maybe you sit all together hand in hand and listen to my BS, and then you hate me at this point in your life because maybe I make you aware of the fact, yeah, about a lot of stuff. And then maybe after half a year you come back and you think, oh yeah, maybe I should not have placed this comment. And then you contact me and you say, no, Dalla, the comment that I made, at that moment I really hated you, but now I'm a little bit more grown up and I put a little bit of disciplines in and I got rid of a couple of habits. I feel better now, and now I want to do more. So I'm gonna try some of those strategies that you give away for free on your website. And you know what? And then after 2 years, you get back to me and say, yeah, Dalla, I built those digital assets / audiences that I own now, and some of the audiences are over 10,000 members big, and they actually now in this Facebook group, and it maintains them itself. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I can see it now, I can smell it now. I got more time for myself, and maybe within half a year I'm gonna give my boss the middle finger, and then what I'm gonna do with my time now. See, then I did my best, and you did your best, and then we can start working together. That's how big my boundaries are now. In the past, I would sit with people and I would say, oh, this is how you build an email list, like this and this and this, and I would talk for 2-3 hours to one person, and then in the end, there's only one person. He built an email list, but uses it as a brochure dump thing. Only products, no value, only products. And there's a lot. Think about your actions. This is the time. Let's assume that you have 75 years on this planet with a little bit reasonable level of energy. Use it to instead of this Netflix thing, you know. And then nothing against Netflix. Also mention what is this other thing, Hulu and Walt Disney. I don't know, all those networks that people are addicted to. HBO Max, 360-degree stuff. I don't know. The thing is, really start observing yourself, you know, while you sit on the couch or whatever, any kind of negative behavior, or you think there is something, you know, for example, you would be in the mirror in the morning, you grooming yourself and you feel restless, anxious. Well, see that as a sign that there is something that you should dig out, you know, dig into your own life. I said this before. Just observe your mornings, your daytimes, your evenings, your nights. What are you doing at night? You know, and then poof, bird view. Look at this. Look at also how you speak to other people. What went wrong? What did you do wrong? There's always something. If situations going bananas, there are two parties involved. And I mentioned this before, right? So I ended up in many very Spartan situations because I was also many times very physical, because I didn't have any boundaries and also wasn't really emotional in control, and I was just always thinking to dominate. Very honest about this. So I've been there, done that. I conducted multiple times physicality with people who were actually doing the wrong thing, but I should have done this in a more political way, you know, not the sneaky way, because now I'm sharpening my communication skills, you know, by actually also looking at my own freaking smug and listening to my own voice that I'm sometimes totally sick of it, and then I feel the growth. And so when now those similar situations would go, I would play with them, you know, they just now. So when it's about behavior of other people, when it's negative towards you and it makes you feel bad, or in this case, if they would make me feel bad, then they're gonna lower in rank of respect, but they're gonna higher up in, you know, let's play the game. Let's play the game, you know, dominance, but also learn a lesson. So I find the balance in domination. Is that a real label for what I'm actually going with this little tiny thought wave? I don't think it's really domination, because it's not about that I like to dominate people from I'm the master. No, I like that people, let's say you treat each other equal, you know. There's a whole category of people, and I think this is always very interesting, and that category of people is, I don't even know, it's actually increasing, but those people, you know, they earn a little bit more than the average person, and I was for a specific period in my life between those people, because they were friends of an ex of mine. And the thing is, those people, they one of them that said always, I won't give anybody respect until they earned it. So until then, you treat them like garbage. See, that is something that I would never understand. I give everybody respect, but the moment that they start hating on me or whatever. And the thing is, when it's about hate, I talk about hate a lot. No, not a lot, but it happens a lot to me. You can see my skin color, but I'm raised by white people, so I am sometimes, you know, getting a little bit huppa, because I am more, let's say, white on the inside than most white people are, because, you know, my stepfather, he had always gray hair. Got you. If you hate me and your father has brown hair, bum, got you. And not only this, there are so many things. When you're in a hating business, you know, you're closing, click, every time a door of opportunity, click, click, close, close, and you will have one big corridor that leads you to your grave, and you tippy-toe. Every time you keep on spreading your hate, tippy-toe. you go with your toes in your grave, and that's gonna be your end destination, simply because your ego on the side, or set a little bit your hate on the side, even if it's for a few moments to listen to somebody. In the meantime, I'm gonna suck a little bit on a little bit of food supplement. I'm trying something new to get a little bit more energy. But anyway, not promoting anything, wink wink, maybe I can get sponsored by you guys. But I'm not showing it, because after, when I get millions of views on this vlog, then you know, you get free sponsor advertisement. The thing is, where I want to go now, time is ticking, and because time is ticking, I need to put in the work. What we're gonna do today, you know, again, relaxed. We're gonna do the pull-up, the dips, and then I'm going to the stadium, do some knee raises and run 5 kilometers. That is my plan for now. But as you know, in the previous, no, 2 vlogs ago, I was also planning to do 7 kilometers, but I ended up with 15, probably even a little bit more, because I forgot to turn on. And sometimes when I take a break on the calisthenics spot, then I forget to turn it off. Dumb mistake, yes, but I'm not gonna do it again, that mistake. So this is another thought about the disciplines. It's better to do every day, in my opinion, 1 pull-up, 1 dip, 1 knee raise on the parallel bar, and 1 kilometer run. If you do this the rest of your life, you're doing very good. Think like this, start to think like this, you know, even if I do 1 kilometer a day, 1 pull-up a day, but do the pull-up as good as you can do at this point. You know, there are a lot of people that do 5 pull-ups or 10 pull-ups and they go, nah, yeah, they're doing this for years, and you can see there's nothing happening, no growth. I think, and you should put it to the test, how your body reacts. That's another thing, right? Everybody has their own mindset, their own body build, you know. And the thing is also, some people who like to use excuses. Yeah, but darling, you got probably the genes. Yeah, but there's a lot of things you don't see. You don't see how I eat, when I eat. You also don't see all the exercises I'm doing. You also don't see all the work that I put in to put the strategy in place for on the phone, so I can give them away to you guys, because I narrowed them down so a 12-year-old can understand and execute them on a daily basis. So you can replace, let's say, 30 minutes of your 5 hours per day mindless scrolling, and then you can claim your freedom, and then you become a human. But this is another side of the coin. Everything in life comes with a price. So if you consider to want, and let's say it like this, you want more freedom, what are you gonna do with the freedom? Yeah, but then I would go travel. Where would you go? And be detailed on what you want, but also always put this in place. What is the price you're willing to pay? You know, like, let's say you're a normal human being, raised, let's say, by papi and mommy, and then all of a sudden you're gonna travel for a few years while your parents are still alive. No, you don't. So what are you really gonna do with your freedom? You're gonna train like a maniac, and what is the outcome for doing it? What are you gonna do? You're gonna spread the word? You're gonna motivate people? What are you gonna do? What is your higher purpose in life according to you? Well, you probably now wonder what is yours. My whole purpose with this vlogging is simply to improve my communication. So when I move into any kind of meeting with any kind of person from any kind of level of society that I would like to talk with, that means, you know, at the moment I have already a very colorful palette of people, trusted people, 100% solid people. And the thing is, I want that every second that I spend with those people, that I bring value to the table in the form of a little bit, let's say, entertainment, comedy, value, and then the whole balance of some sort of, you know, emotional roller coaster a little bit in it. And then a mix that it's not too outrageous, because, you know, I also, hey, you need to read to learn how to read the people, read the situation. People are not always in a stable state of mind. But of course, and when I talk about my 100% people, yeah, those people, you know, we're always straightforward, so we never have to cry about, oh, now I'm tired, or blah blah blah, you know. And by the way, when I say this now, yesterday, you know, I had a long day, and one of the guys, he called and I said, yeah, I'm a little bit brain dead, so I have to excuse myself, because otherwise I would say things that are a little bit out of balance, not out of the more normality. Not that I would act grumpy or disrespectful, but the thing is, I was totally focused on editing, and when I'm in the editing thing, now I'm doing everything manual, but before I did everything with the CapCut, you know, automatic AI, and then the subtitles and everything. But now when I do everything manual, everything is getting way more views. See, and I don't have the million of followers yet, but the thing is, when I look at, you know, you can see the last 48 hours, the views. So that was the last time I checked, I think it was around 8,000, so there's 4,000 views in the past 24 hours. That is a lot of views, I think. Okay, I'm an amateur, I know, but still, that's 4,000 views more than if I would not do anything, right? And it grows and it grows. Subscribers are slowly dripping in, and if you're one of those subscribers, thank you for that, you know. But also, the only thing that I'm asking from you is do something with it. You know, try to claim your freedom. Claim your freedom. Put it on your t-shirt, tattoo it on your forehead. I want my freedom. You know, I don't want to ask my master, can I get on a holiday so I can make pizzas in a place, an exotic place, where all my colleagues are going, so we can actually have some sort of a competition. Who ate the most pizza or drank beer? You know what? I stopped drinking beer from the 31st of August this year. I don't have to drink beer all of a sudden because I'm on holiday. I don't have to dress up like a clown because it's all of a sudden Halloween. Nothing against people who are dressed up, and you know, women, they're always busy with makeup and nails and stuff, right? But man, why do I have to dress up like a clown? I was never in that kind of stuff. So yeah, let that also be him. But also I am very extreme. I'm not doing anything what is, let's say, entertainment for the masses. Nothing. All my exes, they always knew I'm the worst person to watch television with. I always was. Last year I watched television for the last time. One other guy, actually, a few days ago, he actually said, I haven't watched television for 20 years. Yeah. Anyway, also don't say things, you know, keep it real. My vlogs are real. My flaws, if you watch my vlogs before, you know about my flaws. There's nothing glamorous about what I'm saying. The only thing is the outcome. Freedom. Breathe and actually grow your freaking character, so you can have, let's say, a better spouse. Date a little bit more. Yeah, just saying. You know, I'm 47. I will make a statement about this on Instagram on the day that within a few weeks, the 22nd of November, I will be 47. But you know what? At my age, I can date women whose mother is younger than me. Gotcha. And I can actually do dates with, which I actually did, with women who are around the 50. Very, very, very nice ones. If you're watching this, by the way. When it's about my exes, and that is a very short thing, there is not one that I'm in a hate. You know, I'm hating you. I would do with everybody still a coffee, and they also with me. I cannot come up with one that would say, no, I hate you for the rest of my life, you bastard. There's only one that I walked away from because he started beating animals. And that is the worst thing you can do around me. See, if it was a man, I would beat him up so bad that he wouldn't even walk for, let's say, 7 days. Yeah, but Dolan, now you're bragging. No. There are a couple of things that I don't like. People who hit women, animals, and children. And I don't hold back on those things. I also would never shake the hand of a man who does those things, also would never sit on the same table. And if I do, if I would, you know, because the peer pressure is over there, or I'm in a public place, then this person actually did this, then you know, my energy, people who met me in real life and know that my energy level, what happens inside, that will vibrate into the environment. There's something still to work on, by the way. But yeah, those are the three things I cannot stand. So I'm a very simple man. Very simple man. So let's summarize and then close this vlog. Your time is ticking, people. And you know what? The time that you do have, let's say next year you're gonna die. And let's make things very, very raw and unedited and just spit it out. Okay, here we go. So for example, you would have 365 days left of your life. Now, I have to check the battery, by the way. You would have 365 days left. The guy upstairs gives you a message and say, no, little Timmy, you got 365 days left. What are you gonna do? You think you're gonna continue those things that you're doing now. If you do, then you probably have your life tip-top in order. But the thing is, I don't believe that most people would. Oh, wait a minute, where I'm going. The thing is, if you would have 365 days left, would you continue with all the habits that you're doing now? If you think that you would continue those, then again, you're doing a heck of a job. But I don't believe that you would do. Let's narrow it down. You got 7 days left. Which of your habits would you continue? Which one would you continue, darling? You know what? If I would have 7 days to live and I would knew about this, I would start running. Because anyway, you know, there's not and don't leave people behind, so there's nobody who would cry about it. So you know what? I would just run. And then maybe, okay, so if I would have 7 days left, I would maybe set something up. I'm gonna run myself to death and then run for charity. And of course I got the trusted people. I would say, we do a crowdfunding thing and then charity thing, and I will run until I die live on camera. You know, I got nothing to lose. And some of you might think, yeah, but Dylan, that sounds very depressing. No, it's not. It's reality. I live very close to reality. I lived a life that is, when I really should start, I spoke a lot in the past already, but the thing is, you know, some people they really choked up and they said, yeah, wow, that is pretty Spartan. But anyway, besides that, I'm not over here to hang up on a very sad story so you feel bad. No, you should start thinking about your life. I'm saying those things so you really start looking at your own life, and then you think, oh, my life is actually very nice. I'm going to drive on my bike today. I'm gonna grab my car. I'm gonna say hello to my parents. Hello, mommy, daddy. You know, thank you for feeding me. You know, and all those things that are considered the normality. You know, you forgot about it. To actually show a little bit gratitude, say it. And some people also say, yeah, but I thought about it, or I felt, oh, that's how I really feel because I love my mommy and daddy. The thing is, just say it. Say things. With my 100% trusted people, we say things. We say things, whether they're good or nice, of good or bad, we just say them. Eh? The moment is never right, never. But the moment is always now. Hup, gone, up, gone. Moment gone. Poof. Now, say it. Say it. And the thing is, you must think, yeah, my darling, you know, then I will offend a lot of other people around me, and they're gonna cry and they're gonna be angry at me and they're gonna talk bad about me. What am I gonna do with all those people? You know what? You're gonna live your life for the freaking first time. Get rid of those people who think that you become a monster because you start speaking reality. Get rid of those people. Because if you hang around people who cannot handle reality, you will end up with a spouse who is even worse. Because you're gonna attract what you are. Be careful. Be careful, people. You know, I'm very lucky, huh? I am very lucky that I never got children with my exes. I sometimes think about that, huh? And the thing is, it's not like, oh my God, you know what would happen if we stay together for the rest of our life and then we'll be happy and married. No, I'm just saying, if I would have children with, oh my God, I sometimes I'm so happy about that, you don't want to know. See, do I want children? Maybe. am I really focusing on that? Now I need to find a woman somewhere in the bushes and knock her up? No. Whatever comes on my way, comes on my way. If the moment is there, then it's there. If it happens, then it happens. That's how I see it. But I'm not gonna plan, ooh, let's find a woman and, you know, build a family. And then when I'm 65 and I'm crying in the bushes or that is not on my agenda. See, no, I'm not gonna get into the women thing. I actually want to close this vlog with a final thought, with a final request. Okay, let's also start with a selfish request. Subscribe, follow, share, and do something for yourself, like check your habits, you know, check your habits. What are you doing? Without judgment, just say to yourself what you're doing. Nobody's watching you, you know. Don't tell the world about it. Do it in a sneaky way, you know. Look at your habits, tick, 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 tick. Write them down and you think, ooh, this is actually not so good. Ooh, but still I'm doing it. And then force yourself slowly, bit by bit. A lot of people also would not feel very good about going cold turkey on everything, you know. When I also had I'm gonna tell you about myself, you know, it was 8 months of smoking cigarettes. Took me 2 weeks. Freaking struggling with I've had a cigarette with a coffee, nice. With a beer, nice. But now I don't miss it, because I did one thing, and that is simply increasing my kilometers, you know, running. And in the past I also had a period that I smoked, and then I did it like this. Then I bought a package of heavy tobacco, and then I did on the heavy bag. So my lungs, they were so burning, they were actually so painful that you feel the lungs on your back like this, and then you know, yeah, I hurt myself because of the smoking. Pain. People always need to reach that point of pain. And you know, I'm very honest about it. I would also, if I wouldn't have lost everything when I was 30, you know, in Holland, I probably also would not be, you know, in the online stuff, and especially not in everything from the phone. That would be, whoa. I remember one meeting with a guy when I had one of the stores in Holland. There was one guy, he had a bigger car than me, and he said, and then I asked him what he was doing. I think he was in trading or something, but he did things online. I was very fascinated by it, but he was too busy to explain me all the stuff. I was interested, because that was for me totally magic. But anyway, little moment of silence. Had the one thing, when my mother gave me a lot of, let's say, and this is not to disrespect, but a lot of interesting lessons. So for example, and I'm gonna say it like this, if you're a little bit angry once in a while on your parents, at your parents, you know, also sometimes keep in mind they're also humans, you know. They don't have always maybe the communication skills. Maybe there's a little bit too emotion involved, right? Because they care so much about you, you know, there's emotion involved. And that they're not so emotional matured that they at this point that they're so stable and communicate their emotions so on such a level that you feel constantly good about what they say and what they do to you. And let me also say something else very Spartan. As long as they didn't rape you, you got nothing to complain about. Nothing. How do you know though? Now, I have never been raped, but I've been with people, I spent time with people who've been, well, abused. And if you are one of those people, that is very sad. I'm thinking about several people. I always think about them. Not in particular those people, but I always feel for people who are in bad situations. See, I was always already obsessed with people, you know, with how people, their relationships, you can see it, you know. I always have been obsessed with this. So in case you, and I also explain the why. See, I'm adopted, so there's a big hole somewhere, it needs to be filled up. This is how I fill it up. And that's why I can speak the way I speak. It's realer than real, it's based upon reality, and this is my perspective on life. Is that an all size fits everybody solution, what I'm saying? No, not at all. But maybe a few million of you guys, you would resonate a little bit with this and start thinking about life a little bit more, appreciate a little bit more what you do have. You know, your legs didn't get blown off from those people who gave their honor and respect to their country by actually sacrificing limbs and lives. You know, be grateful for that. And without war there is no peace, and with war is not always in the sense of tanks and bombs and bullets, also war between your ears. You know, negativity, accept it, embrace it, and see it as signs of, you know, maybe you should go this direction. There are signs. Nothing, people are so focused on, oh, this is negative, that's not good. Negativity is not always bad. It gives you directions. You feel bad in your gut because you've you know, visited this person because he said this and this. Think about that. You get the sign, get rid of it, cancel. And if it happens once, okay. But I always say nothing happens in a with only as a single standalone situation. It comes always in pairs. Maybe some are a little bit more obvious than other ones. Anyway, time is ticking. I gotta move. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I said. I mean, maybe you don't. Maybe you think, no, Dylan, thumbs down, because I don't like this. And then maybe after 1 year you're coming back and you think, now I'm a little bit older or a little bit more matured. And also there are a lot of people of my own age. I say 40 plus. You know, 40 already sounds very young to me. Yeah, I'm almost 47. So anyway, there are a lot of 40 plus people. They are like little children because they didn't have the privileges of like I had. You know, this situation that crushed you mentally, physically, and then you on your knees and you want to fly away, but you know what, you still freakishly do it. And that is where growth is coming from. That's why, you know, I'm also saying, when a lot of young guys, I'm thinking, Mamma Mia, especially when they're a little bit, you know, try to intimidate. As long as your parents are still alive, whatever, the whole normal life thing, the whole shebang, you graduate from your school every single year without any problems, or you never got arrested before your 15th year, you don't have anything to complain about. The first time that I had my first meeting with the police was before I was 10 for vandalism. Yes, I was a very wild child. High level energy, unlimited energy, but I also was shy at the same time. But when it's about shyness, my shyness always needed an exhaust, and always where the energy was coming from, the excitement, boom, then I go into this corridor. I know exactly why I did the things and how I did the things. I had once a little conversation with, let's say, my school friend, where we did all the disastrous things from. He did it from entertainment. I did it for, you know, excitement, like an exhaust. I know this. But see, now I'm a little bit more controlled, a little bit more take it easy, down to earth. And so all the things that I'm talking about, I can talk about it. See, it is also very, and I'm also visiting people with their children. I can see which one is going where, because I can smell it. No, darling, you sound like you know it all. No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying. I know a lot. I can say that, without bragging, without bragging. And if you would meet me in real life, you would say, no, yeah, that's a guy that we can talk with. I can say that also because I talk with multiple people in multiple countries, and still I do, and nobody leaves my conversations with a bad feeling. Yeah, but Alan, you also did a lot of things wrong. Yes, but I learned from those things. But I also, when I look at those situations that didn't go the way that they should have gone, you know, also when I did things the wrong way and I got punished for it, I always was thinking, you know, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better to prevent this? You know, there are always two parties involved. No matter how bad or disrespectful the other party did towards you, there is always some sort of thing that triggered another person. Sometimes it also comes totally out of the nothing, but yeah, then you already, you know, on a energy level that, you know, I'm saying this because, you know, the first time, no, I think around when I was around 16, and also gonna stop talking then, when I was around 16 I also got one time arrested. Then I got out of the thing, and then some kind of person, and I know what your name is, he waited outside for me, another police guy, and he took me in the car and he brought me back home, and he said, I'm gonna talk with your parents because you're doing this and this. He accused me from dealing drugs, but because I was looking like another person, and I also know who that person is. But you know, from that is adversity. See, what would be my fault that I got arrested in the first place, and they, you know, I got multiple times arrested. And then the thing is, I'm not bragging over here. See, I've been there, done that. The thing is, and that comes, and it opens a little bit a tiny gate of a person who needs to release his, you know, negative things about his life. So this guy who was waiting for me outside, he had like an authority. He was like a Hitler towards his wife. How do I know? Good question. Because I know people who went over there to play with his daughter. You know, not to play with his daughter, you know, because there were girls. They giggled together and played with Barbies. That's the thing. And I knew from this person, she said, yeah, this man is a Hitler figure at home. So you know what? And some people just attract those things, and this is what I'm always warning for. When you get a little bit more attention, your energy level gets higher, you will get adversities on your path, but never see them as negative. You know, embrace them. Just say, give me more, because you cannot kill me, and if you kill me, make sure you chop up my body and put it over there in the Vitisjo mountain. That's also what I say sometimes to people, especially when they are a little bit bigger groups. We can do this too, we can go this, and we can steer this situation multiple. I know, and at the moment I know how to speak, but you know, the thing is, this is my mindset behind it. If you want to do something bad to me, you better clean up my body. You better clean it up. And most people are not in the chopping business, you know, chopping up my body and dump it somewhere or dig a hole. And think about those things. It's gonna stink. You're not gonna keep me in the trunk. Anyway, weird talk to end this vlog about remembering my mother. Maybe also a little bit unconsciously, you know, it's a day. Not in a very negative way, not at all. But maybe I had a lot of things to say, or a lot of things on my mind, on my heart. So to motivate some of the guys or girls who are watching my vlogs. I know that more than 72% are guys who are watching my content. Go for it. Claim your time, claim your freedom, because it's yours. It's out there for you, waiting for you. And I'm giving you the way. And I'm not saying to go all of a sudden in e-commerce without actually forgetting about all the things that are coming on your way. I'm talking about all the stuff that is coming along the way. When you increase your freedom, the level of income, etc. Been there, done that. And I'm talking about all assets of life. You know, you also got those really famous people, they're multi-millionaires, but they grew up in a very fancy home, or everything is good and cozy. That is nice, good for them. They had a sprint hand. Also this guy who speaks with his hands, you know, he talks a little bit about adversity. You know, he had a mother he was cuddled by, you know, he had a business that he could take over and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, he won't speak about the stuff that I can speak about, because he simply cannot. He doesn't have this experience. If he would start talking about stuff like that, then he would not be genuine. So he knows that he probably will never talk about it, because yeah, the guy is doing very well. Congratulations. But I'm gonna give people a little bit more extra, you know, so you don't run into a lot of surprises. I talk about a lot of stuff. Anyway, Dylan, we start rattling. I know 10% left. Ciao for now. We're going in first over here, then Rokosti Stadium.